The wisdom of ripening. Thank you for joining us again today. Subscribing and leaving a like are the kindest support you can give.
The door wasn't fully open, and the air on my lips already tasted different. Breath slid along the wall like a low tide. A familiar perfume tangled with a temperature that didn't belong. That night, a life turned over with a click. Hello, I'm Marion Cole, 55. And I run a small diner on a corner in Tacoma, Washington. I live alone above the kitchen. What I'm about to tell you began at my counter, with steam. And a man who hadn't slept. He came in with a suit that remembered better days and hands. That didn't quite stop shaking. Polite, steady, older, but the eyes were emptied out. He said home made him hungrier. A house that starves you means time has been going bad for a while. His name was Sam Bennett, 65. His wife, Maggie, 67. 45 years, 2 sons grown, a retirement that should have been gentle. Somewhere their talk ran thin. The TV filled evenings like a stranger who never leaves. Then the alarms. Lipstick he hadn't seen in years. A lock screen on her phone, a flattened chuckle. He didn't say suspicion. His fingers said it, tightening around the mug whenever the vibration hummed. Saturday she said she would meet a friend. He followed at a respectful distance that hurt him to keep. Bus. Downtown. A cafe window where the light loved their faces. Maggie and a man Sam knew from the back without seeing the front. John Carter, his college friend. 3 years widowed. A hand over a hand. A shoulder leaned into. A smile no one had worn in his house for decades. They left in a taxi. He asked another cab to follow. The ride ended at John's ground floor apartment. Sam sat on a courtyard bench and counted his pulse. He still held an if, maybe comfort, maybe grief work. Along the walkway a window was cracked. A lamp shook. Sound moved from fabric to wall. Sam touched the door. It yielded a finger's width. He never described the scene to me and I didn't ask. He only spoke about heat and rhythm, and a face he had never seen on his wife. And the way his own name went silent inside him. Maggie said, "We should divorce." John froze with the sheet in his hands. Sam tried to build one last bridge out of a single sentence. "Come home." She shook her head, her voice clean. "I can't. I'm going to live my life." He walked down the stairs on knees that weren't sure of him anymore. That night he ate standing up at my counter. Cooling his soup without tasting it. I washed plates and kept quiet. Bubbles rose and broke. Hearts do the same, rupture, settle, make a new floor to stand on. I decided I would help him stand. The door of that past was closed. Another page waited. Before we turned it, I poured him water. Hot things should be set down slowly. Cold things should be warmed before they are asked to make sense. He asked, hardly, if he could come back tomorrow. "Yes," I said. "There will be broth again, and a chair that remembers you." He came on time. His voice was smaller, his posture tidier, like someone trying to use less air. I slid a mug of barley tea across the counter. And sprinkled sesame on his side dish. "Eat first," I said with my eyes. "Talk later." Near closing he stared at his phone like a doorbell he feared to ring. Family photos felt like strangers. His thumb hovered over Maggie's name. He pressed, erased, pressed again, and pocketed the device as if it were hot. From the register I kept tally on the ledger and on his hands. People don't cry with eyes first, their fingers do. Rain began, neat and insistent. I gave him an apron and a task. Let's cook. Slice scallions, drain tofu, feel the pan warm. Watch soy hit steel and climb the air. He was clumsy, which made him careful. While the knife worked, his mind was allowed to rest. The green on the board shone like a new hour. Toward dusk Maggie called. Her voice was steady, her wording exact. I'm not coming back. Let's use the time we have left separately. He nodded though she couldn't see it. That nod was the last contract of their marriage. I lowered the flame. Set it down slowly, I said. Drop a hot pot and you don't just burn yourself, you lose the meal. We sat after I stacked the chairs. The neon outside kept the room a gentle pink. He asked if this was his fault. I placed a clean napkin on his hand. Right and wrong can be cages, I said. For tonight, let them wait outside. Breathe first. He began to come most days. He ate, rinsed dishes, brought containers back clean. I taught him how to shop with your nose. How long to salt cabbage, why stock prefers patience. Lessons go into the body. A body that knows a rhythm can outlast a dark idea. In his pocket notebook he wrote ratios on one page and a line on the next. Endure one day at a time. A week later he and Maggie split assets without argument. No one raised a voice. Each tried not to look long at the other. He ate half a bowl that night. Strength isn't only from food, I told him. Sometimes it comes from the smell of food, or the seat beside you being warm. His chopsticks made a small sound against the bowl. That felt lighter than yesterday. During a short outage we lit one candle in the kitchen. We didn't talk much. Our shadows layered on the wall and made a third person, who seemed to breathe with us. He said, quietly, "Am I allowed to stay a while?" I nodded. Allowed to stay, allowed to return, allowed to ask for more tea. The rain let up. He raised an umbrella at the door and looked younger by a decade. Broth keeps a person alive, he said. People keep people alive, I answered. He smiled like the sentence had bones he could lean on. Tomorrow, he said, I'll buy the scallions and try to cut them even. The promise was small, but it held heat, the kind that lasts till morning. After that day I watched his hands first. If the fingers trembled I set out a warm towel. If his gaze wandered I turned on a low song. When a heart is breaking the body sends news first. Between grill and pass I learned to read him. Before dinner rush he pulled a small notebook from his pocket. Yesterday he wrote the ratio for scallions and garlic. Today he wanted heat and timing. I flipped the page. Your script can wobble, I said. Your flavor will hold you steady. We trimmed mackerel and shaved daikon into pale moons. Oil sighed in the pan and the room filled with a gentle scorch. He leaned in then stepped back. Smells good, he said. It meant memory. It meant a table waiting with hunger. It meant a night that would not be empty. When the room cleared I loosened my apron and retied his. The knot brushed the line of his neck and his breath shook. Do not fear warmth, I thought. Let touch speak when words are tired. He nodded without looking at me. We ate staff dinner under one small light. Steam blurred our glasses and the candle drew a ribbon on the wall. Home is loud with absence, he said. I nodded. Emptiness can be the noisiest thing. His eyes paused on my mouth then returned to the table. I stacked 2 bowls and closed his notebook. His shoulder made a small tremor. Patience is a kind of desire. I pulled a chair to his side. I set my palm over his hand and stayed until our breathing learned one rhythm. We kissed. Not urgent, not shy. Long enough to write itself inside the chest. Nothing raw, everything true. Mouth, breath, the square of his shoulder, the hollow at the base of my neck. We checked the map of each other the way careful people do, slow and clear. Leaving, he stopped under the doorway bell. "Today I feel alive," he said. "You are," I said. "Tomorrow you cook the rice." He smiled and promised to be early. He was. He washed the grains 7 times and measured water with his knuckles. He warmed kimchi soup and touched it with sesame. When the scent climbed the stairs, we laughed without reason. Near noon the bell rang. A familiar silhouette stood with a small purse and a set jaw. Maggie asked if Sam was here. I pointed to the kitchen. She took a breath and walked in. The room tightened. "I am not coming back," she said. He did not answer. He gave me a glance like a folded note. I kept it for later. She studied my face. "It does not matter who you are," she said, then left. The bell kept ringing in the air after the door shut. I stood with my hand on his shoulder until the sound faded. Broth must lift once more before it clears. Hearts do too. At closing he asked if I would go to the market with him on Saturday morning. He wanted to learn how to choose shrimp paste. He wanted the secrets that look small but add up. I said yes. Small secrets build a life. In the alley dusk we shared one more careful kiss. The night did not need more words. Saturday dawned soft and gray. The market still yawned when we arrived. We walked at the same pace, baskets brushing. I showed him greens that keep their breath and shrimp paste that finishes clean. "Teach me the small things," he said. The small things are the whole thing, I thought. Back at the diner we washed and tied on aprons. He salted the greens and waited without fidgeting. He stopped just before too much. Knowing where to stop is half of flavor. He smiled like someone who had learned a sentence worth keeping. Lunch was busy. We moved like partners. I felt his place through my back. He lifted pans and I cleared plates, and the room turned into a steady song. After the rush, a thin cut showed on his knuckle. I wrapped it and felt the beat under the gauze. A living pulse can hush a loud thought. We stepped out the back for air. The sky wore peach. He said he had waited long enough. He wanted a little more, and he used my name to ask. I said yes, and I said slowly, "We will not rush. We will not bruise what wants to ripen." He slept on the couch that night. 2 blankets and 1 window open. In the dark he said my name once and I found his hand. Hands are often wiser than language. Morning found him awake first. He cleaned the floor and lined up cups and set a candle under my coffee. "Where did you learn that?" I asked. "Loneliness," he said. "It teaches you to notice needs." Days later his older son came by. Worry sat on his face. We poured tea and told what mattered. What broke. What would not be fixed. What could still grow. He said he wanted his father to be peaceful. We promised to try. That evening Sam brought a small box. Not a ring, a thin silver bracelet. He said paper is for offices and we are not offices. He wanted a light thing he could see on my wrist while we cooked. I gave him my arm and felt my heart widen. Days found a path. Monday market. Tuesday senior center. Wednesday the waterfront. At night we sat on the same side and listened to Soup breathe. He asked about moving. Both places held too many shadows. New light might teach our days a better shape. I asked for time. He said he could wait. We toured small apartments near the diner. We looked for sun and quiet stairs at night. We wanted a sill for herbs and a stove for 2 pots. We chose the same place at once. The move was simple. 1 knife, soft towels, a few photos, 2 spoons. The first night the air felt new and clear. We opened the window and set the curtains. We toasted that our hearts still burned low. We promised to keep the room warm. Darkness arrived gently. I rested my hand on his shoulder and he covered it. We kissed longer and held closer. The heat was calm. We did not hurry. We did not stop. In early light he said my name with thanks. I answered with his and said live with me. Days later the younger son announced his wedding. He wanted both parents present. Of course, we said. We felt a last hill ahead and packed grace. The wedding hall shone like a shallow sea. White flowers lined the aisle and smiles moved. We sat quiet. I pressed Sam's hand. Today is for blessing. When the thanks began the door clicked. Maggie entered on John's arm. She held herself with order. He matched her step. They took seats without a stir. No scene, only a page turning. After the ceremony we met near Lemon Water. Maggie said, "Are you well?" I said, "I am. I hope you are." She looked at my face and at our joined hands. "You have been kind to him." That was all. Sam crossed to John. They stood without words. Old friendship lay between them like a cracked road that still led home. Sam lifted his hand. "Let the past be the past," he said. "I will live my days." John nodded and took that hand. In the grip bitterness thinned like tea with hot water. Forgiveness starts and keeps starting. We found a quiet hall and stood close. "It is over," Sam said. "Endings make space," I said. Tonight we light 3 lamps. Bright, not rushed. Our speed. At home we opened the windows. Night air pushed the curtains and the room widened. We kissed as if air had weight. Closer, deeper, still without hurry. Love does not ask your age. Age teaches love how to last. We rested with the lamps low. Days settled into lanes. He grated apple into sauce and I learned to fold his ties. On weekends we ate on the pier. Salt settled on our cheeks and we covered each other's hands. Lines on our skin looked brighter. We said getting older did not scare us. On rain days we lit a candle and let music speak. Our shadows crossed and made a third outline. Desire stayed warm and learned direction. Some nights he said I thought my life was over. I brushed back his hair. "Not while I am here." One evening he asked, "Will you be with me tomorrow?" I kissed his forehead. "Tomorrow and the day after," I said. We left a single light on. One light is enough to find the way back. This morning I opened the diner and set broth to a small boil. Soon Sam will push the door and grin. "If you come in I will make room at the corner table." The soup is honest. The salt knows when to stop. The heat is kind. A week later the phone rang. Maggie wished us peace. "Peace to you also," I said. My chest felt lighter. Knots come loose when they are ready. We joined a cooking class at the senior center. I tied his apron and he learned a new knife rhythm. On the walk home he started to speak and then stopped. I helped. "I love you," I said. He breathed in and smiled. "I am alive again," he said. If any part of this found you today, leave a line in the comments. Your one line can be a handrail for someone else. If someone comes to mind, share this. A small story can carry courage. Health cannot be bought, but you can subscribe and turn on alerts now. Thank you for walking with us. Your small step can change a tomorrow. See you in the next story. Stay well and keep a graceful day.